Cards to Yards, brought to you by the Adventure Stadium and the Adventure Begins, located on 1488, right next to a big old movie theater. I'm Chaz Graves, and here with me today, Preston Laird and Mark Blair.
Hey Chaz, thanks for that introduction. It's Mark here with Preston with Cards to Yards, where we talk about all things sports and trading cards. Preston, are you ready for the holiday season, or is it snuck up on you like a blitz in the NFL?
It's kind of stuck up on me.
Yeah.
As if I don't see it coming every year. It seems to always sneak up on me.
Yeah,
I'm a procrastinator. So.
I think it's weird, like coming out of the pandemic. I think it might be going faster than normal because last year it was just like lockdown. Okay. But now it's like we're out and about doing stuff, trying to get ready. Oh, you got to worry about the supply chain. And I, for the most part, start my Christmas shopping in June.
Yeah.
And then inevitably in October, November, December, switch my mind on what I want to get certain people. So I'm usually shopping till the last second.
Me too.
But which is good for retail stores, right?
Yeah,
I'm all about the impulse buy. If you need a guy to make an impulse buy, I'm your man. But so we got that going on. You guys are taking donations for Toys for Tots through December 12th.
Absolutely.
And it's gonna be a crazy Christmas rush for the store. How's the new expansion been going?
Expansion's fantastic. We're still waiting on some equipment, some supplies, and display cases. As you just noted, that everything's kind of been out of whack when it comes to delivering things. But other than that, it's going great. Come on by the shop, take a look. I think you'll really enjoy it. Like I said, it's a stress-free zone. You come on in and just have a good time and visit and chat with the guys.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great open space, and you got comics below and sports cards above.
Heck yeah.
Nothing better.
Bring those Toys for Tots donations so you can get a free entry in our break on this Saturday, December 11th.
Absolutely. Now, Preston, when it comes to life in general, well, specifically collecting, are you a half glass empty or a half glass full type of guy?
Usually, I'm a glass half full, unless you're talking about the Texans. Other than that, I'd say I'm a half full kind of guy.
Well, that's a desert. We're not even going to get into that. I'm talking about half of a Honus Wagner T206.
Oh my!
Have you heard this story?
I have not.
Get ready for this. Buckle up. So it's basically, do you see half a card or the half that's missing? So recently, a card has come to auction. It is the famed Honus Wagner. There's only 60 copies known. This is actually a PSA graded, but it doesn't have a grade, so it's certified. But get this, the serial number is like 9 zeros and then a 2. So this was graded like 25 years ago.
Wow.
It's one of the first cards PSA ever certified. And of course, it's of this fabled card that most recently sold for, I don't even remember. 6 million, I think it was. Yeah, 6 million. Every time it goes to auction, there's a new one. This is literally half of the card ripped kind of at a diagonal angle, and so you can see him, but nothing much else. And then on the back, of course, half the font. But
so it's going to be worth $3 million instead of $6 million.
Who knows? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, surely there's probably oddball collectors that's just like, oh, I'll take that because I mean, the only other way to do it would be to buy a $6 million one and then rip it in half. But I don't think anyone's going to want the lower half. I mean, maybe if they're like a jersey enthusiast or whatever. But this is going to be available through SCP auctions. And it's just another thing. Each time we do this show, we're talking about something on auction, the collectible market in general, people wanting more than just cards or autographs. Mm-hmm. This is like a next step above. But to me, it would be like, we talked about those Jordans that sold for a record amount. It would be like just buying the shoelaces. Like, I'm sure someone would want it.
Absolutely.
But I'm also sure those shoelaces would get lost.
Yeah.
So.
Or the tongue of the shoe,
the tongue of the shoe, yeah.
You would like just any piece of it.
Just like part of
it.
Price. But anyway, so if you want half a Honus Wagner, I'm guessing it's going to go for 1.5, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be somewhere between 1 and 2.
And I think the novelty of it having like the serial number 2 from PSA is going to be
just that alone is a highly sought after collectible, I would think. Just being that low of a print run on their initial step into the realm of card grading.
Absolutely.
That's very, very historical, and I can only imagine that's going to be worth a lot more down the road.
Yeah, and if there's only 60 in existence, that means there's only one that's half of one.
That's right.
So maybe someone will find the other half, and that'll show up as a part B of the auction.
There you go.
Well, a lot of teams have been not showing up in the NFL. Texans being one of them. Not going to talk about it. Promise.
Right.
And if I were to tell you that an NFL team would throw 3 passes in an entire game in this day and age, what would you think the outcome would be for that team?
I would have thought that there was a major storm or an earthquake that happened in the first minute of the game, and that would be the only way that record could ever be set. I just don't see how you can go through a whole NFL game with 3 passes.
Yeah, so I'm speaking of the game between New England and Buffalo.
Yeah.
Mac Jones throws 3 passes. They win 14-10. Incredible. It was insane. And I was like, how can Wynn do that? And then walking in from the parking lot to here, I almost got blown away. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's how.
I don't understand it. It really, it's hard to register in my brain. Is a reality. I just don't see how it happened to begin with. I don't care how good your running game is, what's going on. I mean, 3 passes is just, it was unfathomable to me that could even ever occur in a college game, much less a professional football game. So, yeah, that's something that we'll never see again in our lifetime.
I don't think so. And I don't know if it's been like named the Win Bowl or anything, because it wasn't a playoff game, but it is going to be important in standings. It does move the Patriots to 9-4, which is unbelievable with a rookie quarterback. Yep. Even with a mastermind like Belichick, it's like unbelievable. And I don't think I would quite pick them to be the favorite going to the Super Bowl, representing the AFC just yet. But who knows? They're on a roll. Their defense played a monster game. The only reason Buffalo even sniffed the end zone was because one of the Patriots, during a punt return, it hit off their helmet.
Yeah.
And it put them within like 8 yards of scoring, and they just powered it in the end zone. But other than that, it was crazy. When the game started, they showed the flags on the field goal post that indicate where the wind's blowing and how hard, and one of them flew off. So that's how crazy it was. But and get this, most impressive, Patriots go to 6-0 on the road with a rookie quarterback.
Amazing.
That is...
Love me some Mac Jones.
That is crazy. Now, the team that I would probably pick to represent the AFC is the Chiefs. And I would not have said that 5 weeks ago, because as we've been talking every week, it's like, oh, they're disappointed. They're disappointment. Offense can't get going. Well, again, if I would have told you, the Chiefs offense has only scored 20 points twice in the last 5 games, you would probably say, oh, well, they're 2-3, if not 0-5.
Yeah.
They're 5-0. It's crazy. So Kansas City's won 5 straight. Again, the defense carried them to victory. Mahomes just hasn't been putting up those 4 or 5 touchdown games.
And, the first half of the season, the defense was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
The offense was scoring, but the defense wasn't stopping anyone from scoring. So, I mean, they've been struggling all year to find balance. And I think that defense has just come around at the exact right time for them, and they're starting to get into playoff mode.
It really has. And on the opposite end, so they beat their rival, the Denver Broncos. Denver started off 3-0, and then we talked about how they immediately lost 3 in a row. They were 3-3. Well, now they are 6-6, tied for last in the AFC West. Mm-hmm. And it's just, again, Chiefs only scored 20 points for the second time in their 5-game win streak. I just can't believe it. And then
it's a strange season.
And then the Raiders are obviously down there with the Broncos at the bottom, 6-6, just last place in the division. And it's looking like Kansas City, full steam ahead, could be the favorite because, again, New England has a better record, but rookie quarterback. And at the end of the day, I just think that Super Bowl experience.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just going to carry him.
It's hard to bet against Belichick when he gets to playoff time. So it's going to be a really interesting playoffs this year, and I think I'm looking more forward to this playoff than I have in many years, just because of the diversity and you've got a few new teams that are breaking through and coming around that haven't been in the playoffs in a long time. So it's going to be exciting.
And then I think so. Those are my 2 favorites to come out of the AFC: Patriots and Chiefs. I would pick the Chiefs. I would probably right now pick them against the Bucks, although everyone's dream matchup, of course, would be Belichick versus Brady, Patriots versus Tampa Bay Bucks.
That would be amazing.
And I think the Bucks are all for that idea because they have taken the command in the NFC South. I had to look at the standings 5 times because they're at 9-3. The rest of the division, all 3 teams are at 5-7.
Yeah.
So they're already four games up.
They're coasting already.
So they win 30-17. 2 more touchdown passes from Tom Brady, who's a young, spry, middle-aged quarterback, to Gronk.
Yeah.
And the question was posed today on sports television, who's the best passing, receiving combo of all time? My mind, maybe my age, I immediately and forever will say Joe Montana, Jerry Rice.
That was going to be the next words out of my mouth. Joe Montana, Jerry Rice.
However, last 15 years, sure, give it to him. That's fine.
I mean, as far as heck, as a tight end, QB combination, it's hands down the best in history. But I mean, as an overall receiver, I think before it's said and done, they might be right up there. number 1, number 2. Let's go look at Harrison and Peyton Manning. Marvin Harrison, Peyton Manning. Was incredible duos
amazing.
As well. So there's been some good ones, but it's going to be hard to top Gronk and Brady.
And it's just going to be almost impossible. The Super Bowl wins and performances alone, the only duo that could possibly ever get that close present day again is Mahomes and Kelsey, and that's if they both stay with that team and stay healthy.
That's right.
That's it. But so in that Tampa Bay game, he threw 2 to Gronk, but he threw 4 more overall. The most impressive part, 51 passes. I mean, I guess they're not worried about his arm falling.
No.
But that is just they're getting fine tuned. Now they are tied for second in the NFC overall, or the second seed with the Green Bay Packers with another phenomenal quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. So it's going to be, like you said, this playoffs is going to be very intriguing, and you have other teams kind of on the cusp, winning their division, but maybe not looking so sharp like the Cowboys. Not trying to take a dig at the Cowboys just because they're 3 hours north and I can't stand them. Yeah. But there's a lot going on in the NFC. So
yes,
we'll see if the Bucks can come out of it. But I'm telling you, media and fans and football fans, everybody, dream game, especially for ratings and commercial money, is New England, Tampa Bay.
No doubt.
It would be ridiculous.
Sign me up.
And in the battle of sophomore sensation quarterbacks, Chargers explode 44-21 over the Bengals. Herbert wins the battle of the second-year QB stars against Joe Burrow, despite getting sacked 4 times, which is not good for anybody. I'm sure the offensive line had to run laps after that because it's just please do not let this guy get hurt.
Yeah.
And he threw an interception. So not really a stellar performance by him, but the team overall, 44-21, dominant win. They improved to 7-5. They're just 1 game back in the AFC West. Cincinnati falls to 7-5, now 1 game back in the AFC North behind Baltimore. So, this is going to be, we've been talking about this, but that extra game they put on the end of the season, it's going to be very interesting to see how that's coached because that's an extra potential for rookies gearing up for the playoffs, but it's also potential for veterans to pull a hamstring before the playoffs. Do you rest the guy to get a better seed? It's going to be, and then statistically, we've already talked about that. If someone has 4,000 yards, it's not going to mean as much.
No, it's not. The record books are definitely going to change in the coming years as a result of this. History is going to be changed. I think, personally, I would love to see Cincinnati in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I really would because I love Joe Burrow. I think Herbert is fantastic as well, but I'm constantly fighting inside my head, who is really the better quarterback between these two. I still think that Burrow is going to be the better quarterback long term.
Probably.
Because, he does have a little bit more of a learning curve, missing the time that he missed in his first season because of injury and such. But as far as the first matchup for the second year stellar phenom QBs, and Herbert came out on top. But I think they're both going to have phenomenal careers. So.
And we won't know for 8 years, and hopefully we are lucky enough for it to take that long.
Yeah.
So that one of them, meaning they're both healthy and it's actually a debate. Wouldn't that be fun to debate in 10 years?
Heck yeah.
Rather than one of them burns out in 3.
Right.
Like, we don't want another Ryan Leaf, Peyton Manning situation for sure.
Well, speaking of record books, huh?
Yeah.
What about this kid named Curry?
Oh, he's all right. He's okay. Steph Curry is actually my pick to win the NBA MVP. Has looked phenomenal. We talked about his perfect 25-point quarter, like the first week of the season. The Warriors are like 21-4 now. The big story here and for the season, Curry is only 10 3-pointers behind Ray Allen. And once he passes him at 2,900 and whatever, he's going to be the first player ever to hit 3,000 3-pointers.
That's amazing.
It is crazy. And
his stock is way up.
Of course. And also just the fact that, people, there's probably at least 3 times in his career that people are like, oh, he's done because his ankle's broke.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was known as like having, just
fragile,
being fragile, having fragile ankles. I mean, lack of a better word. And now seeing him come back, his leadership's intact. He's got Draymond Green, but he doesn't have his running buddy Klay Thompson yet. And we're going to see when they all get back together and gel and shake all the rust off. It's going to be pretty scary and definitely a team to look at when the NBA trade deadline comes up. Because if they add a veteran or two, yikes. Because like I said, they're already at the top of the West, 21-4.
And Klay coming back? Oh,
yeah.
Man. Are you kidding me? They've done all this without Klay?
Is he the best?
The Warriors are back, man.
Do you think he's the best shooter you've seen? As long as you follow that
no doubt in my mind, out of all the basketball I've ever watched in my life, I think Steph Curry is the best pure shooter that I've ever seen. Absolutely.
I think before that it was his dad.
Yeah.
With the
Dell?
Dell
Mm-hmm.
Curry.
That was good.
It was ridiculous. But like Steph Curry is like video game, Space Jam level 3-point shooter. He can shoot from 30 feet, 40 feet. He's made 50-footers, like not by accident, not at halftime in a contest, like intentionally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to shoot this 50 feet and make it.
The game is so different now than, when you and I were younger in our 20s and 30s and such. I mean, it was much more of a structured game growing up than it is now. It's more of a freestyle, willy nilly. Let's just do whatever we're going to do.
Yeah.
And so the talent is on display at full force a lot more, I think, than what we saw back in the day because it was more of a team sport.
Yes.
Now it's more of an isolation game.
Yes.
It's more of, the pick and roll isolation type game. And so you're seeing a lot more guys do the one-on-ones and some of these 30, 40-foot shots that you never would have seen.
Right.
Back
and just the analytics behind it of, 3 points is more than 2.
Yep.
If I got a guy that can hit 3 at that consistent of a level, and he's averaging 5 3-pointers a game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I don't know what the record for average 3-pointers in the season is. I'll look that up some other time. But I'm sure if he doesn't have it, Ray Allen did.
Yeah.
So it is just wild.
Well, Reggie Miller's another one. Reggie Miller, one of the top 3, 4, pure shooters of all time. Can't go without mentioning Reggie. So.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Well, you had mentioned us back when we were in our 20s and 30s. Mm-hmm. When you were in your 20s, did anyone ever offer you a 12-year, $223 million contract to play baseball?
Am I sitting next to you right now?
Yeah, you are.
And then no, that definitely didn't happen.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So Wander Franco just turned 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
Came up and had, as they say, a cup of coffee in the majors.
Yeah.
Played great.
Yeah.
Covered around 300. But do you think Tampa Bay is crazy to offer him a 12-year deal right now for that much money? Or do you think in 3 years we're going to be like, ooh, if they would have waited, they would have had to pay him $400 now?
Well, I look at this half full, half empty.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So half full, it could be the smartest move ever made.
Mm-hmm.
Because at a 12-year contract, $223 million, so they're roughly paying him $20 million a year.
Yeah.
The kid, if he's as good as what people think he's going to be, then he's going to be worth $35 million a year.
Oh yeah, at least.
So maybe $40 million a year by the time we get to mid 20s for this guy. So it could go one of two ways: either they're going to save a tremendous amount of money, or they're going to waste a whole lot of money. Okay, 3 options actually, and then the third option is they're right, where they should have been all along.
Yeah.
So I don't think we've ever seen a contract of this magnitude ever for such a young player with such limited MLB experience, in the big show. So it could be a precedent for what's to come. It could be a cautionary tale. We don't know, but we'll find out sometime in the next couple of years, I'm sure.
I think it's been heading this way. We saw it happen with Acuna, but it was like shorter and for 100 and something. Well, we don't want to talk about this, but they're in negotiations right now. The labor union, we're hoping not for a lockout at all. But one of the things that might be discussed is the players. You have to have X amount of experience to get X amount of years or X amount of money. Giving all that to a 20-year-old, lots of pressure. Baseball, typically a sport where outside of pitching, you don't see a lot of career-ending injuries, but we've already seen the aforementioned Acuna with some pretty devastating injury this year. He'll be back. And I think Wander Franco, I mean, if you're Tampa Bay, what else do you have? That's really the answer. Is like, you do not want to risk losing that guy to the Yankees.
I don't think it's a ridiculous offer or anything of that nature, but it could go a lot of different ways. I don't think it was bad. I think it was probably a good decision.
Well, and also now thinking about it, the two teams that you would think would poach a guy like that are in their division, Red Sox and Yankees.
Yeah,
so
they are professional poachers.
If I was the Rays, I'm comfortable with it. I'm cool with it, and I think it's a deal.
Yeah, I do too.
So speaking of deals and fines and steals and prospects, what you got on docket for some new releases for people to rip out?
Yeah, well, we've got some really cool products coming out soon. This week we got in Chrome Black Baseball, which is really super, super nice product. Wow. Next week we're getting in Alan Ginter Chrome, which is super popular for the top side of things. It's kind of a little mishmash of all kinds of stuff thrown into the Alan Ginter Chrome. Then we've got, for the first time ever, next week, NBA Flux.
Ooh.
Panini Flux. It's the first time that it's ever been released. The Flux product has been inserted into the Chronicles brand as one of the 6 or 8 different types that you can get out of Chronicles, but this is the first time that it's going to be by itself, so that's super exciting. And then we've got Impeccable Football coming out next week as well on the 17th, and anything football right now is super, super hot. So come on in the shop and get your hot new boxes of cards.
And I think, as basketball goes on, and Evan Mobley's doing amazing. He's like top 5 analytically defensive player, which is mind-blowing. Yeah. We got Stef Curry setting the records. We're going to see if he can beat out Giannis for the NBA MVP, who's the reigning. Can Giannis get the Bucks back? Can LeBron and all the old guys in LA now, can they stay uninjured and play together with Russell Westbrook? I think as all these storylines unfold and football ends, basketball's going to heat up.
Oh, absolutely.
I really think so. So, like Flux, get on that, and then just I'm waiting for Jalen Green rookie cards to finally come out. Once they finish up all the 2020-21 stuff, give me the 21-22 stuff.
Yes. And on a final note,
yes,
we are having our National Hobby Shop Day, December 11th. Awesome. We've got prizes and breaks. We've got a recon break, 3-box break that we've still got a few spots left at $30 a spot for random teams. 3 boxes, 6 autographs, 30 basketball teams. And we're going to have prizes, door prizes, pizza, and all kinds of good stuff. And bring your toys for Tots donation December 11th. Right there.
I got mine.
For any Toys for Tots donation, you're going to get a free entry into our 2012 SP Authentic Football single box break where you can maybe pull a Russell Wilson RPA.
Ooh. That would be sweet.
Speaking of terms like RPA, what's our term for the week?
Well, our glossary term for the week for Cards to Yards Adventure Stadium, brought to you by Adventure Begins Comics and Games. Die cut. I went with die cut because I think that is the first instance of a die cut card I remember is like SP die cuts from like 93 or something like that.
92, 93.
And I was like, how do they do this? Do they got like an intern that uses scissors? No, it's a machine. Machine done. So a die cut, Any card that is cut or modified by laser printing or otherwise that causes it to deviate from the standard rectangular card shape or format. So literally we've seen zigzag cards, arched cards, like Select does some crazy parallels where it's like, and then
Spectra's got some really nice die cut.
And those entire sets, Crown Royal,
Yep.
that blew my mind. Like in the
When it
late
first came out,
90s. Yeah, I was like,
absolutely.
How do they do this? Obviously harder to grade, but very, very cool. So yeah, any card that's die cut deviates from the rectangular shape and used a lot for parallels high-end insert sets.
Yeah.
And so that about does it for us. Just remember, bring by Toys for Tots. Come enjoy the hobby. Enjoy the new store, the new layout, and meet people on the 11th for the National Hobby Shop Day. And thank you, Preston. As always, talking sports and cards. Back to you, Chaz.
On behalf of myself, Preston, and Mark, thanks for watching Cards and Yards, brought to you by the Adventure Stadium and the Adventure Begins Comics and Games, located on 1488 next to a big old movie theater. We'll see you guys next time.